Welcome back, class, to Chapter 3.7, Formulas and Functions. And as a new feature, there is a little video screen that you can see also. So you're seeing myself while I'm video recording this video. So enjoy that. Sometimes I'll get really close to it without even noticing or forgetting, due to the fact that I can't see myself right now because the Screencast-O-Matic is taking up the large portion of my screen, so it cuts off the video cam. So sometimes I'll get close and I'll forget that I'm even getting close. But anyways, welcome back to Formulas and Functions, Chapter 3.7. Let's get started. So solving formulas. In this lesson, you will work with equations that have more than one variable. So in this chapter so far, we've been solving equations that only have one variable. So we've been trying to isolate this variable. It could be on both sides, but we're still trying to bring it together and isolate it. A formula is an algebraic equation that relates two or more real-life quantities. So here's an example. Use the formula of the area of a triangle. Area equals length times width. So we're going to find a formula for L in terms of A and W. So what does that mean? That means we're going to solve for L. We're trying to get L alone. So we know that this really means A equals L times W. To get L alone, to isolate the L, we're going to divide each side by W. My doubles cancel on the right side. So I know in the end that L equals the area divided by the width. So usually what happens in these problems, they tell you to solve for something to isolate one of the variables, just like we did right here. And then they give you information that you're going to plug into the right side of the equation. So that you can find out what that length is. So they're going to isolate a variable for you, and then you're going to plug information in to get what that variable would equal. For example, the second part here says use the new information, or use the new formula, to find the length of a rectangle that has an area of 35. So we know this is length equals 35, area, 35 square feet, and the width of 7 feet. So we know that 35 divided by 7 is 5. And remember, make sure you label your answers. So this is 5 feet. So we know that the width is 7 feet and the length is 5 feet. Now plug this back into the original equation just to double check your answer, because we have all the information now. And 7 times 5 equals 35. Actually, I have these. No, those are right. That's right. So make sure you put 5 feet, label your solution. So solve the temperature formula for F. So we have C equals 5 over 9 Fahrenheit minus 32. So we know that this is multiplication here, but we know how to get rid of this fraction. We have to first get rid of this fraction by using the reciprocal, and we have to do it to both sides. So we know that 9 over 5 C equals F minus 32. Now notice that my parentheses is gone because I got rid of the number that was connected to it on the outside that we would normally distribute. So to get F alone now, we add over 32. So we know that 9 over 5C plus 32 does equal F. So in class, I could give you a temperature in Fahrenheit or in Celsius, and you should be able to calculate for that other variable. All right. So the simple interest I on an investment of P dollars at an interest rate R for T years is given by the interest rate equals the P dollars, the principal, times the R, the rate, times the T, the time. And we're going to solve this formula for R. So don't even look at this step yet, right here. Let's solve this. So we know that I equals P times R times T. And we're going to take both of these variables now in one step because we're trying to get r alone. We're isolating that. So we need to get rid of the pt. So we know that I equals, I divided by pt equals r. So now we have r alone. So now we're going to plug in the information. They want us to find this rate. So we're going to say that the interest, it earns $54. So that was the interest that they earned. And we know that the principal, the amount of money that they started with was $1,500. And we're going to multiply that by the time, which was 1 year. So really this is saying R equals 54 divided by 1,500. And we know that that equals 0.036. Now when I divide these two numbers, you got to understand that this is a decimal. And remember, rate, they want as a percentage. So if this is a decimal, we can multiply this by 100 or move the decimal twice, and that will give us our percentage of 3.6%. So if you put $1,500 into a bank at 3.6% interest rate, okay, and for 1 year you should gain roughly $54 in interest on that. Okay, so that's what that means. Okay, now if you're having trouble, make sure you go back and re-watch this part of the video. Okay, because this will be one of the homework problems as well. So go back, watch this problem again, and see how we solved it. And then you can go back and help yourself on it'll help on the homework problem. You'll probably be solving for something different than R, but you know, P times R times T, you'll solve it the same way. Just a different variable, different unit. So, not sure what happened here. Okay, there we go. I moved slides somehow without even knowing. So rewrite it in an equation in function form. Rewrite the function 3x plus y equals 4 so that y is a function of 4. They give you this equation and they say so that y is a function of x. This is very important. After the equation, you understand that y is means that you're solving for y. They want the y equals. They want you to isolate y here. So when we have the equation 3x plus y equals 4, they want you to isolate that y. So how do I isolate the y? I subtract 3x from each side. So I have y equals negative 3x plus 4. So I isolated the y by itself. Function form. Okay, don't let that confuse you with the wording. Just understand that you're isolating one of the variables for itself. That will come up a lot when we're doing graphing. Okay, so this is kind of a pre-introduction to that. So rewrite the equation 3x plus 4 equals 3x plus y equals 4 so that x is a function of y. So x, we're trying to get x alone now. So 3x plus y equals 4. So x equals, so we're going to subtract y. So 3x equals negative y plus 4. You can write that either way. You could say 4 minus y or 4 plus a negative y. I write it as negative y plus 4. And then we're going to divide by 3. So x equals negative y plus 4 divided by 3. So now we have this equation. And in step 2 it tells us that they're going to tell us what y equals. Y equals negative 2, negative 1, 0, and 1. Sorry, I had another meeting for a second, so I'm coming back to the video. But so this is going to be our input here. Whenever they give you the information, this is kind of your input, and then you're going to have an output here. So we got to plug this in 4 different times into this equation here to come up with our output. So when I plug negative 2 in for y, I know that it's saying negative of a negative 2 plus 4 divided by 3. So I know we add this together. So we know that this is saying 6 plus 3, or 6 divided by 3, I'm sorry, equals 2. Simplify the numerator here. That's how I got the 6 before you include the denominator into the problem. Okay, so then when I plug negative 1 in, negative of negative 1 plus 4 divided by 3 plus plus, this is 5 over 3. Leave it as a fraction. Okay, for 0, plug 0 in. 0 plus 4 over 3, which equals 4 over 3. And then plug in 1, so that's a negative 1 now, plus 4, which equals 3, divided by 3, which equals 1. So these are my solutions. When I input negative 2, I get 2 out. When I input negative 1, I get 5/3 out. Okay? And you'll have a problem like this on your homework, so if you have any questions, go back to this part of the video to check it out. All right? So here's your homework. Explain the steps to solving P equals 2L plus 2W. So show your work and explain it in sentences of how you would get W alone. Write the equation 5x plus y equals negative 8 so that y is a function of f. And then here is your input for your x's. And then solve the I equals PRT for P. Find the amount you need to invest to get $1,950 in interest at 6.5% for 6 years. So if you have any questions on this, I did examples of these in the video, so go back and watch it, pause if you need to, and really make sure that you got all this information down. So I hope that you enjoyed the live cam, and it's hard for me to see it, so you'll have to let me know how that goes if you enjoy seeing my face throughout my voice, and hearing my voice. So if you have any questions, email me. Hope you have a wonderful night, and I'll see you tomorrow in class. Take care.